say as little as possible.
Well,
I don't want to survive. I want to live.
Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain. That this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom. And that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
The Lincolns and their guests arrive at Ford's in high spirits.
The crowd applauds the president. They stop the play. They sit down, and the play begins.
It comes to their barking up the wrong tree about the old...
About 10 minutes after 10, Booth began to mount the stairs leading up to the second tier of boxes where you would find President Lincoln.
As Booth makes his way toward the presidential box, he is seen but no one stops him.
He was well known to everyone, a popular actor, of course. And that let Booth get right behind Lincoln.
Used to the manners of a good society.
Booth is in position at Ford's.
Booth comes into the box right as the whole theater bursts into laughter.
As the crowd roars with laughter, Booth takes aim.
Stop apologizing, old man.
And so that moment where the whole future looked like had finally lifted, the clouds had separated, comes crashing down.
The bullet enters the back of Lincoln's head.
Booth stepped up to him, fired a shot from perhaps 3-4 inches, not right against Lincoln's head, but close, and it hit Lincoln in the back of the head, like a sledgehammer would. This is the Derringer that Booth used on April 14. It's about 6 inches long, weighs about 8 ounces.
A part of the Ford's theater collection, this instrument of history was Booth's personal weapon.
Booth probably had this weapon for at least 5 or 6 years before the assassination took place. It fires a single bullet, so this is, like we say, one and done. Booth dropped the pistol, went to the front of the box intending to escape. Major Rathbone jumped from his seat. He grabbed Booth from behind and pulled him back from the railing. Booth twisted around in the Major's grip, and for the first time the men were face to face. And Rathbone later said he was absolutely horrified by the look on Booth's face. And Booth was stronger than Rathbone was, so he was able to free himself and slash Rathbone with a knife.
Booth leaps from the box to the stage.
Sic semper tyrannis!
And makes his escape.
Trouble so hard, ooh Lord, trouble so hard. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Ooh Lord, trouble so hard, ooh Lord.
Just because the slaves had been freed, it didn't mean that they were going to have equal rights. After the Civil War, you had formerly enslaved Americans that were just really set out to fend on their own. They had been separated from their families. They didn't have jobs for the most part. They did not know how to read and write. African Americans had to begin to work hard just to become citizens of this country.
They needed to be educated. They needed to be given health care. And most importantly, they needed jobs. And what skills did they have for the jobs that might be there?
The fate of African Americans was further complicated by the fact that in the border states of Maryland, Delaware, Missouri, and Kentucky, slavery was still technically legal, as Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation only applied to the states that were at war with the Union. In order to abolish slavery once and for all, and to begin granting the benefits of full citizenship to persons of color, it would be necessary to amend the U.S. Constitution, and not with just one amendment, but 3. Ratified on December 6, 1865, the 13th Amendment outlawed slavery throughout the United States and its territories. It also eliminated the clause in the Constitution that counted slaves as 3/5 of a person. But still, another amendment was required, one that clarified that former slaves were entitled to American citizenship.
The 14th Amendment is necessary because the Dred Scott decision had said that African Americans were not citizens of the United States. And so the 14th Amendment makes sure that we do have citizenship and that we have due process. At least that's the way it's supposed to work.
truck drivers blasphemy. No more, no more, no more pound and salt for me. No more, no more, no more ocean block for me. No more, no more. Union League, Union League, Union League, Union League, Union League, Union League.
The meeting of the Soso and Jones County Union League will officially come to order. Here it is. Right here. Congress just passed an amendment to the United States Constitution. Article 15, Section 1. The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. That means when we was all slaves, we got the right to vote now. Congress done passed the law.